Hey brother, when we see the undertow, we say, let's go. Oh my gosh, how adorable is baby Dory? She's like 50% eyes, 50% cuteness. So as I'm sure you are all aware, Finding Dory hit theaters last weekend and quickly shattered box office records for highest grossing opening weekend of an animated film, which is very impressive. But possibly the most important thing it did was add a new chapter to the Pixar Theory. Not familiar with the Pixar Theory, it is the idea that every Pixar movie exists in one giant universe on one giant timeline. The original Pixar Theory was written by a guy named John Negroni, and I will link down to his website in the description. I highly recommend you go check it out and read his full Pixar Theory article. It is super good. Alternatively, you can watch my own video covering said article right here, although I warn you, it's from 2012, so the quality's not quite as high. But with that being said, this video is just my own personal take on how Finding Dory fits into the greater Pixar universe. I'm sure there will be tons of versions out there, but I have been careful not to read any of them yet. This is my own personal take. And just quick warning, if you haven't seen the movie yet, this video will definitely contain spoilers for Finding Dory. Okay. Let's go. Finding Dory takes place, as you might expect, immediately after Finding Nemo. 1 year after, to be more precise. This places the films in 2003 and 2004, which on the Pixar timeline would come right after Toy Story 2 and just before Ratatouille in 2007. And just as a quick refresher, within the Pixar Theory, there is a constant struggle between three main factions: humans, machines, and animals. But let's be honest, the real struggle is between man and machines, with the animals never really rising to the top. Instead, we see humans evolve to the peak of their own evolution in The Incredibles, only to then slowly backslide into basically completely useless as machines pamper them to near extinction in WALL-E, which I guess is not a horrible way to go. But while the humans are busy, de-evolving, animals are seen getting smarter and smarter, at least for as long as they can get smarter until, trash planet kills everything. But not all animals are evolving and gaining intelligence at the same rate. For example, we see Buster in Toy Story 2, who does seem smarter than your average dog, but isn't capable of speech like all of the characters in Finding Nemo/Dory. I believe this is because that by living underwater, the cast of Finding Nemo and Dory are further separated from humans and therefore less impacted by them. And less interaction with humans gives your species the opportunity to thrive and evolve faster. And there are plenty of examples of fish showing signs of higher intelligence within Finding Dory. Like, for example, how they have an organized school. Get it? School of fish? I see what you did there. Or how Mr. Ray is able to fight his instincts to join the stingray migration despite himself saying
something deep inside you that feels so familiar that you have to listen to it.
I guess unless it interferes with your class schedule or something. Or Dory's parents laying out shells in a line for her to follow home. Not to mention Hank, who wants to live in captivity and, learns to drive a Mack truck in a few seconds. Basically just the better your environment is for you to live in, the faster your species can evolve and gain intelligence. You can even see another example of this with the dogs in Up, who I would say are all still a lot smarter than Buster from Toy Story 2. Again, they've basically been living alone away from human interaction, other than months, for 70 years, which has given their pack the ability to gain intelligence a little bit faster. Serious intelligence. They're able to cook and serve and, pilot planes? Squirrel! I'm putting such a heavy emphasis on the environment because I think that's eventually the reason that the animals, despite being on the rise, never really make it to the top. Because humans ruin the planet to the point where it can't support life at all, except for cockroaches, before the animals can get there. And Finding Dory reveals where it all started. America. Hashtag America. It's not a huge part of the movie, but it is impossible to avoid. The moment Marlin, Nemo, and Dory arrive in California, the water is thick with pollution. All the hermit crabs are using mugs and cups as shells. There's rusty bikes and tires everywhere. It looks like a shipping freighter has crashed just offshore. Even earlier in the movie, when Dory is just like asking around for help, you see empty bottles and a sunken Volkswagen Beetle. And to top it all off, it's the classic six-pack rings that get Dory caught by the Marine Life Institute. Although to be fair, she was trying to get inside there anyway, so that's a win for pollution? Now I know what you're thinking. It might not be fair to just single out the United States here. I mean, we don't get to see that much of the ocean in the two movies, really just off the coast of Australia and off the coast of California. But there actually is more evidence that points to America as the culprit. For example, in Finding Nemo, we learn that American humans in particular already have a bad reputation with underwater sea life, as stated by the sharks.
Humans think they own everything. Probably American.
And we know eventually that it's by and large BNL who are the culprits for polluting everything, and the only other movies we see them in are Toy Story 3 and Up, both of which take place in America. But let's not put all of the blame on America. I mean, after all, in Finding Dory, Dory herself dumps an entire Mack truck into the ocean, so yeah. And the movie does feature the Marine Life Institute, which, according to Sigourney Weaver, wants to rehabilitate and then release fish back into the ocean in response to the pollution. So that's good. Probably a little too late, but hey, we're not all bad. And honestly, I think what we see in Finding Dory is just a slice of what is starting to happen worldwide. Because remember what we said earlier, the better your environment is, the more your species can thrive. Garbage, as we see in Finding Dory, is typically bad news for like every species. But I ask you, what species would thrive on an influx of garbage? Yes, fittingly, almost perfectly, almost as if Pixar planned it. The species that would thrive on garbage and immediately start to gain intelligence is the subject of none other than the very next movie in the Pixar timeline. Rats. Finding Dory might not offer up the flashiest new addition to the Pixar theory, but it does give us some enriching details as to when and where things started to go wrong for the humans, and how in turn that affects all the other species on the planet. And that is how Finding Dory fits into the Pixar theory, at least according to me. And my question for you and everyone else is, what did you think of Finding Dory? Did you freaking love it? Also, are there any other plot holes we need to fill in here? And what Easter eggs did you guys spot in the movie? Let me know down in the towel section below. Also, if you'd like to hear me talk about Finding Dory for like, I don't know, another hour, I recommend you head over to the D-Cast. I was on their podcast last weekend. You can check it out right here or link in the description. They do a weekly podcast where they cover everything Star Wars, Marvel, Pixar, and Disney. So if you like what we talk about here, you're probably going to like them. The hosts, Dale and Andy, are great guys. I had a blast on the show. I really hope you'll go check them out.
These socks are amazing.
Final quick announcement, Ben and I are super excited. We are heading to VidCon later this week. If you are there, be on the lookout for us or tweet us and stuff. We will be wandering around the convention center and we would love to meet you. But guys, thanks for watching this video. Like if you haven't and subscribe so you don't miss any future additions to the Pixar theory. You can see our last two entries, how Inside Out and The Good Dinosaur fit into the Pixar theory right here. I'm going to give you some time to click on those. And I will see you in another life, brother.